Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nesty Talks. And welcome back, Big Daddy. It's good to have you back.
I'll never get tired of hearing that. Well, maybe one day. Nah. But let me ask you something, Nico. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Everything considered. I haven't had sex since New Year's, so 1st of January. And now we are in March.
That's like 65 days overdue, at least.
Yeah, it's 3 months.
2 months. Yeah, I
I
would go
just
crazy
wanna.
with numbers if I was in your situation, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm just trying to make it a bit more dramatic because it sucks, it really sucks. But it's all good. How are you doing? How you doing?
How am I doing?
Yep.
How I'm doing?
Yep.
Yeah, let me think here. I've been working out a lot recently, actually. Finally seeing some progress here and there.
Hmm.
But
Working on yourself.
yeah,
I
the most
see.
important part. Gotta
Nice.
make those bastards jealous, Like, abs.
Which bastards are you talking about?
Everybody.
Everybody. Okay. So everybody, just so you know, Mirza is working out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should be scared.
Yeah. When the bear becomes a beast. Or something.
Okay, good. Well, today we are talking about relationships.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
Oh no.
And we are talking about a certain type of relationship that is not really a relationship yet, or will never be a relationship.
A porn subscription?
I mean, we could also talk about that maybe another time, but yes, that's also an interesting me and me relationship.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
What? You don't screen it in your common room with other people watching?
I only do that with Tinder. It's like a group decision based on the matches.
Girls, should I not? No, it was actually interesting because I was out eating with friends and I showed them my Tinder at that point where I didn't use any pictures of myself.
Yeah.
And the girlfriend of my friend says like, nah, you shouldn't do that because you should have pictures of yourself so she can ask the opinion of her friends. Because apparently women do that.
Yeah,
Tinder.
we do.
Yeah.
We do. We also do that. And after we match with somebody, we just ask the other girls, like, do you think this guy is good? Is it worth going on a date with him?
Man.
Right? It's a tough world out there.
It's a spider's web of deceit.
Mm.
Like, guys, they're like, you think I'm going to get laid? Yeah, bro, go for it.
Okay, so like you can see the different sides of perceptions. Like women are so judgy sort of, and it's like, is it even worth it going with this guy? And then from your side it's like, yeah man, go get laid.
I'm just tired of hearing your porn next door, man. Go and like do some of the actions you see on TV.
Yeah, but please don't come home with the action.
Just warn me ahead, I would say.
Yeah, that would
or
be nice.
tell her to bring a friend.
Yeah. Foursome right there. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Steamy.
Or threesome and I'll kick him out. Like, get out of my apartment, man. What the hell?
Yeah, maybe also that. But today we are talking about something else.
Oh.
Yeah.
So orgies.
No.
Oh.
No, we are talking about a period when, after you've dated somebody, it's all good. You've been on some dates. Maybe it has been like 1 month or 2 months or something like that. And you're wondering, what is this? Is this a relationship? Is this like just a hookup that lasts longer? Is this friends with benefits situation? Is it an open relationship? What is it? And how to actually be able to tell what it is without having to ask, or how to ask it in a casual way.
Yes.
Yes, so this is the plan. Okay. Have you been in one of these situations and felt awkward saying it to the person or asking what this is?
I usually always implement, I'm not looking for relationships. I like to be free.
Yeah, so you say it from the beginning, so there's no confusion there.
More or less, but sometimes feelings get involved and I'm the person that I am. I still care about the person, gives here, gives there, let's do stuff here, help out.
So. Yeah, I've actually noticed that you're a gift guy. That's how you show your love.
Oh, that as well.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. But I think that happens like most of the times with women, I think more often, because we women don't want to be like desperate into wanting a relationship. So then we don't want to ask about it. Like, what is this,
But do you feel that with time it's a turn on just to be cold and mysterious and all that stuff instead of just putting the freaking cards on the table. At the end of the day, it just confuses both parts.
Yeah, I don't think it's mysterious, and they don't think that it's mysterious, and they don't want to make it mysterious. The women that don't take action into asking what this is. It's just more about the fact that they're scared about the outcome.
Oh, of course.
Because if they want a relationship, then they're scared of what the other partner might say. They're gonna say like, okay, I'm not really into relationships. So then they're maybe sort of hoping that spending more time with them without having a label on it will actually make the man want a relationship, because it just becomes comfortable and they just start to know each other better, and then it just, they have a more deep connection, and that leads to a relationship. But it doesn't happen often necessarily, because I guess communication is the most important thing, right?
Communication is vital, but I feel you need to be honest about what you want from the get-go. But it's not always that, like, it's certain.
Yeah, I think it's also based on, culture and the country you're from, because I know that here in Denmark, for example, it's so normal to just, maybe match on Tinder or something and then just talk with somebody, and then one of the people is just going to ask at some point, so what are you looking for? And then it's going to be pretty obvious, based on the answers, if this should go somewhere or not. But it happens that maybe you want a relationship and you just don't know how to say it, or maybe you don't want a relationship, so that's why you don't bring up the subject at all, because you just assume that the other person sort of reads your mind.
Yeah, you can never assume that, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I feel everything is just pre-judgmental, because I'm not the same person I am on Tinder as I am on Facebook or Instagram or whatever,
Of course.
That'd be impressive if you're the same person to everybody, because you can do that, but it's a bit tricky.
It's also about flirting, Do you know how to flirt? Because if you talk on Tinder, or you're going out and you just meet a girl or something, and you talk with her as you would talk with your friends, then maybe your friends will get confused. Or maybe she will get confused and she will think that you're not into her. If you're doing the same things with your friends and you're acting in the same way, then she's going to be like, okay, I am not sure if he really likes me.
Oh, that's true. I flirt all the time. And I'm not interested in everybody. Let's make this clear.
Yeah. But I think there's a difference between flirting and, just trying to be funny. Because
but there's different layers. Sorry, it's sexual tension, it's flirting, it's cockiness. There's so much in between. When you say flirting, it's not just like, oh, he's trying to get some. That's not how it works.
No.
Charm is also a different thing.
I think, because most of the times we do flirt with people that we are interested in, or we have like a certain connection, almost a sexual tension also, because otherwise it would just be like a friendly, jokey situation. But if we are into that person, then we tend to want to make more jokes. We tend to want to kind of like laugh about that person in a cute way.
I feel like for me, it's about, you want to make that specific person happier. Like you talk with them in a different kind of way.
Yeah. You try to make it about them rather than you. Yeah. Or at least in the beginning, because that's attractive. It's attractive for you because you get to make that person happy, and you get to kind of like know more stuff about that person. But it's also good for that person because they feel important and they feel happy.
But I feel that's also really show of like love in itself. Like, oh, your partner had a horrible day or whatever, and you're trying to make it better. That's a big sign. That's much appreciated should that happen. So
yeah, and I think it's so interesting that people flirt only at the beginning of the relationship, or at the beginning of when they meet each other, and if they get into a romantic relationship, then they don't flirt anymore. It just dies. And I think that's actually important for a relationship to be stable, to have something like that, like still joking around, still flirting a little bit, still having that flame, because otherwise it just becomes
but for me, I feel it's the idea of not having it and having it. because like you gotta fight up the way to get in the relationship, and now you like each other and know where you are, so you don't have to like go 110% all the time.
Yeah,
So
exactly. But it just not 110%, but maybe you can still do like a 60%,
yeah, of course.
and it still feels nice.
But we have to remember, like, daily life is not easy, especially
No,
if you have
no.
kids. How will you have time for romance, all that stuff? You have a job, you have a stressful time, you have to work overtime. Where's the,
Yeah.
like, you barely have time for sex at some point.
True, but it's actually easier to implement, like small flirts while the kids are also around, because you can just joke something, like make like a funny joke or something to your wife, like while she's making food, like nicely put your hand on her hand while she's, I don't know, washing the dishes, and you're just there drinking your coffee or something, and then you just keep your hand there, and then she looks at you kind of sort of weirded out, and you look at her and you wink or something, and then it's just like a nice, flirty
Yeah,
gesture that doesn't
that's
have to
true.
mean anything, and it's not gonna affect the kids in any way, like sex
No,
would,
no.
if they actually see you having sex.
Yeah.
So, like small things can be implemented, but how do you implement something like flirting if you don't know what the person wants? If you're at the beginning of a relationship, or it's not even, since it doesn't have a label, it's not even a relationship, then how do you do that? How do you flirt if you don't know what they're looking for?
Oh, that's true.
What do you do? Do you just flirt in a sense that you maybe make a joke as, I like you so much, I think we should be together forever, and just like make it a joke,
Yeah, like
like,
at one point I was wearing rings, like, and
yeah,
doing the proposal joke here and there just for the fun of it. Of
yeah,
course, I'm not being serious about
no, no,
this.
no,
So if you have to joke in a certain way, it has to be really over the top. We're thinking he better be joking or he's fucking crazy.
yeah. So stuff like that, maybe that would work in case you don't know for sure where you're standing and what the other person wants. Then just go all the way and hope for the best. But how do you express, yeah, how do you put the question, so what are we, in a way that doesn't hurt the other person's feelings or doesn't change much about the situation, something
But
that is still casual?
I'm not gonna say you have to ask directly like you want to be my girlfriend. I think you need to like get up in that way in terms of what you feel yourself. Example, if we're dating for, let's say, as you said, 1 or 2 months,
Yeah.
then you would be like, okay, listen, so this is how I feel. And then you could start about talking. Every time I'm with you, I just feel comfortable. I feel nice. I feel like I can be myself around you. And I haven't been on any other dates, and I want to take this to another level. So do you want to be exclusive, for example?
Mhm.
And just give her time to think about it. If it's a no, then sure, you might have lost something potential there. But it's healthier for yourself in the end.
Yeah.
Not to give false hope of a relationship that's not going to be.
Exactly. I think you have a really good point. And I think it's also really important, if you don't know what the other person feels and you want to make a relationship exclusive, then you probably shouldn't ask them. You don't just ask the person, what are we? Because that just makes them have the power.
Yeah, because you have
Yeah.
to be the responsible one and lay out
Yeah,
the cards.
you're more the one that doesn't know where the situation is, and you are just asking the other person, and they can say whatever they want to. I think it's much nicer if you just express your feelings. As you said, you can just say like, we've been dating for a while and I have these feelings and all that, and I just also want to know where you stand, because this is what I'm feeling. And you just ask, do you want to be with me, or do you want to like take this to another level? Because it's just much nicer than to just be like, hey, I think it's time, what are we? Because then it's just kind of like, you just seem insecure, you seem like you're waiting for his approval in order to make this something else, in order to take this to another level.
Again, remember, it doesn't pay off to wait. If you're having these thoughts, it's better to get it out, because the anxiety is gonna eat you up inside.
Never overthink it, folks. Like, it's so bad for your mental health and for your physical health also. Like, it's gonna drain you at the end if you just keep on. Yeah.
Sorry, I've regretted so many things because of overthinking. I still do it because, like, childhood I wouldn't call it traumas, but childhood habits are
Yeah,
really
behaviors. Yeah.
behaviors that are difficult to get a hold of. So the joking as a tool, that can also just be a coping mechanism.
Exactly.
Because I don't like the feeling of sadness and loneliness. Like, who
Yeah.
does? Okay, maybe like emos and Batman, but that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Fair.
The most efficient plan that you can have for getting the relationship exclusive is just being honest and communicate it first from your side without just asking the other person. I think that's just nicer. Because I think it's also easier for the other person, you know, when you say something about yourself, you put yourself in a vulnerable situation there because you're saying your feelings, you're saying what you feel without knowing what the other person feels. And then they're going to feel that. And they're going to feel like they're special because you're sharing those emotions with them. So just be strong and do it.
Yeah, that's fair. Vulnerability is strength, actually.
But
what is oversharing then?
Oversharing?
Yeah.
In what sense?
I know sometimes I can be a blabbermouth, you know all about that. But I also do it like to pinpoint the joke more. Like, when does something become this interesting if you overshare too many details or stories or whatever?
Well, I don't think there's such a thing as oversharing. Maybe there's something more like sharing too soon.
Fair.
Right? Because at the end of the day, if we are into one person and we are really wanting to take this to another level and, you know, spend time with each other, then obviously we want to know as many things as we can about that person. But it's just nice to leave some things, to just make it mysterious and leave some things for later. So then maybe just share the most important things or things that just come to mind in the moment and not overthink it and try to, like, you know, seem super interesting, because it's just nice to also have other discussion topics for later, I think.
Yeah, but I also feel sometimes if you overshare, it's because you're either compensating or you're trying too hard. You're like, I am this amazing.
Yeah. So just maybe try and be aware of where you stand and where the other person stands. Because if you are oversharing, then maybe the other person is not sharing enough. So maybe you should be better at listening and asking questions about the other person.
Fair. Well, I'm not the best asker, if that's a word. But I did go on a date some time ago, and I feel like, okay, fine, she was doing the questions and all that stuff. But every time I asked, she was short. And every time I got asked a question, I could like linger on for a story that would last with details. And you can go 4 different ways, questions, like pile it up. I feel that's a very difficult energy to get these days at dates. It's like, do.
Yeah, it is a bit annoying in that sense. I've experienced it as well. And maybe it's just nice to just put it out there and just say to the person, you know, I think I want to know more about this. Yeah. About the topic that you're talking about. Well, what else do you have to say about this? Or something like that. Just try to get it out of them. And obviously, if they don't do it and it just doesn't work, then that's your answer. Then it's just not a good match.
You know what I kind of miss? Because I did go to the speed friending things, you know. It's like...
So like the speed friending is basically you just go in a room where there's like different tables with people sitting down, and you just move from one table to another and meet new people.
Yeah, you have like 2 or 3 minutes to talk individually. But I feel it just becomes stale so fast. Like, I've been there a couple of times, and the first thing I literally say to them, listen here, pal, I do not care what you're studying, what you're working with, where you're from, or your name. Like, let's be creative here. Okay, what are your hobbies? What's an embarrassing story? You know, get it out there.
Yeah.
Because it feels like a job interview. Like, okay, what's your name? How old are you? Where are you from? What are you studying?
Exactly.
Oh, cool. Why did you pick that path? Like, I'm not there to hire you, man. I want to, like, give me something to laugh with.
Exactly. So. And that's actually something that doesn't just happen at speed friending situations. It happens also on Tinder, on apps. If you talk with somebody, it's just the same boring thing. They just say hey, and then you say hey, and then they just ask you how are you doing, and then I'm good, thanks. Then how are you doing? Good, thanks. And you know, like,
am I talking to myself here?
Yeah, like, exactly. And it just becomes like
then
easily
you should
boring.
Just write, I want to suck your cock, and just see if she answers the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, That's what I'm talking. Even if you ask that, maybe she's just gonna delete you or something. But
yeah, but if she has humor, that's gold.
Yeah, exactly. You can actually just say
Yeah.
stupid stuff and see where things go, because you don't have anything to lose. The only thing that you're gonna lose is just a person that
Your dignity.
also that.
Sometimes.
Yeah, probably that too. Oh well. No, I think you should be bold always. Like
Yeah.
always when you're meeting a new person or multiple people and you're interested, then just give your best and make fun and just keep it as casual as you can. Just make jokes. If you're good at jokes. If you're not good at jokes, then just make bad jokes. Are they called?
Puns?
Yeah, I think so.
Puns?
Yeah.
I don't know. I always start explosive, more or less like, who the fuck are you? Like, at one point, I went out to that guy and he was just being weird. And I was thinking, man, I don't know you, but I want to know your fucking dealer.
Yeah, like,
so,
yeah, that's nice. Stuff like that.
It's simplified because they'll remember you for stupid stuff or clever stuff.
Yeah.
Like, being a buffoon is not necessarily being stupid. If you know what you're talking about and you're sarcastic and you know your inside jokes and people don't get it, then it's not your problem.
If you can also show that you have something in your brain besides, making jokes, then I think you're good.
Girls.
Okay, so I think we established the fact that if you want a relationship, then how you should theoretically act and what you should say. But what if you've been spending time with one person and it's going good, but you just realize that it's not a person that you want a relationship with, but you would still want, maybe to have like a longer hookup or to just like be friends with benefits or something
ask,
like that.
Listen, I don't think I like you like this, but do you want to keep it casual? It's fine if you don't. I understand. Because the thing is about not adding pressure.
Yeah.
I feel immediately, somehow, if it's you want to be in a relationship, he or she gets a lot of pressure and it's like, oh, I gotta do so much extra. What now? What's gonna happen? Like, how are the people? So much, seriously. Yeah. But it's about just not being too forceful, not putting on pressure. Just like take it easy, because it is a bit anxious, starting a new relationship.
It is. But I think maybe, like, it's a really good point. I think that maybe when you're asking these kind of things and you're saying this, that you're not really interested, you should maybe also try and see. I know it's not necessarily something that you have to do, but it's just nice to ask that person, how do you stand? Where do you stand? Do you think you could do this? Because a lot of people, if they are into something and they want to be in a relationship and then you just tell them that that's not possible, then they will do as much as they can to be that possibility, to have that. Of course they shouldn't, but the human brain works differently. And if you are already into a certain person, then you think like, oh, but maybe they don't want to be with me like exclusively because I'm not good enough or something, and that's of course something that is their problem, but it would just be nice to make it easier for them.
Yeah, but I have been in that situation. And I told her, like, we can be friends if that's what you wish for. And I don't have anything against her. She's an amazing person. But it's just not what I want. Because I still want my freedom and just needed something new. But it's not easy. And I hope she's great and all that. And that she's not trying to do anything to become for me, really. Like, I always feel people need to work on themselves. And the right people would come in the right path. Right time.
Yeah, it takes time for everything. And especially like maybe if you're the other person that is being told that this is not something that they can do in the relationship, or they can't be in a relationship with this person because they are not interested, then how do you assess that feeling? How do you think about it? How do you take it? And of course, if you feel like it's too hard for you, then just say, fuck it, I can't do this. I don't want to do this because I am not feeling at my best right now. I am not comfortable enough with myself to be able to go through this. So I think it's just better to end it. But if you think that you are okay with it and you can do this and it's fine and you would have wanted to be with that person because they're just nice, and that you're having fun and all that, then if they are that fun and you are having a lot of good times with them, then obviously you can still keep that while just not being exclusive if that person really means that much to you in that sense.
Yeah, but for me, I also been on the other spectrum. Like, I also told, like, I don't know, we can try and be friends, but it's just, if I see you with somebody else, I would think, fuck, why couldn't this be us? So the
Yeah, of
emotions
course.
involved always.
Of course, there's emotions, but you just have to see where you are mentally and how you feel about the whole situation. Just give it a try. It's okay to change your mind also. It's okay to
Yeah.
say, yes, we can do this. And then maybe after a week or two or a month or something, you just realize you actually can't.
Yeah.
It's okay to say, after trying this, it's not really something for me. I can't. That's
Yeah.
also allowed and it's fine. And I think the other person is going to respect you even more because you are honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And you also didn't waste each other's time and everything was communicated. So I think that's also really important to just talk about it. Of course, that person told you that they don't want to be with you. They still want to, have sex, have fun and all that, but they just don't want to be exclusive.
Yeah.
And then you just tell them, okay, well, I think I can do this, but I just want to communicate with you a little bit more and just talk about it sometimes because it just makes me more comfortable. And then it's just nice to have that conversation because then you also know the boundaries and you know where you stand and where he or she stands. That's also something good to have in mind. But what about something nonverbal? If, for example, you want to know where this is going and where the relationship is going, and you don't want to ask them, you don't want to have that confrontation, what are some signs that you think like people can take from this situation?
I don't know, if you think about texting, it's like, you know what ghosting is, of course.
Yes.
Or just like using less energy on the relationship to see it's fading out because it's not as interesting as it used to be.
Yeah.
So I would say that. Or making excuses not to meet up, for example.
Yes.
It's all bad signs. So,
yeah. Or maybe like being being in a public space with somebody and they just, I don't know, they just don't touch you in any way. Like they don't touch your hand, they don't kiss you in public. They maybe you try to make a move and they don't act upon that move. So that's also a sign of them not being interested in that way, or just wanting to keep it private.
It's like it's hiding, it's not out there. You guys were dating? What?
Yeah. And on the opposite side, you can just look for the other signs. So what if this person actually does all these moves and they like try and touch you and kiss you and they want to invite you going out with their friends, or going out often and going in multiple places, like different places, or texting a lot, as you said. So all these things are on the opposite. Then they are probably wanting a relationship, or they're definitely really interested in you. What if they are interested in you in a more friends with benefits situations? Then what would they do? I think
I had the longest, just come over and fuck me. I need to get the stress out.
Yeah, exactly. Like something like that. They're just contacting you if they want to fuck, if they just want to be at home with you and just chill and also fuck.
For me, I don't know, friends with benefits is pretty nice, but I still like to hear about the daily lives of the other person.
Yeah, of course, because that's why it's called friends.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So it is also sort of, it's not just like sex, because I personally, I know that maybe that's not the definition of it, but I would call sex with benefits something that you have a connection with that person and you're still friends, you're still talking about your lives and all that while you're also having sex, but you're not exclusive. And on the other side, if you're just having sex with somebody without putting any kind of like connection on that side, then it's more like a hookup for me. It's more like a longer hookup that lasts for months. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a hookup. Well,
Yeah, right?
fling, call it what you want.
Yeah. So that's how I would call it, because friends with benefits is just more.
Let's stay in a situation with one of your friends with benefits. Do you also talk about your dating life if you're friends with benefits?
It depends on the boundaries that you set,
right?
Like, I think it's just about the communication and however you want to make it work. If you just talk with that person and if they're okay with it, then yes, you can talk about relationships and other hookups and all that.
What about this? Okay, you're friends with benefits, and he is dating another girl, and she wants to try a threesome, and he mentioned it to you. Would you be down for that?
Okay, that's long. That's hard to process. Wait, I think you should just put it out there. If you think that the person is comfortable with it,
Yeah, of course.
You should just put it out there and see. And I think it would be nice if it's a friends with benefits. It would be nicer to, for that person to be involved rather than just not be involved and just hear about somebody you fucked.
True.
So it's probably nicer. But it also depends on the person and the connection that you have and everything. So I would just say be honest and put it out there if you feel like it. And yeah, that's it. What are the signs or what are the methods in which you think you could make them bring up the question to you? So if you are interested in them and want to know what's going on, where are you standing, how do you think you can make it seem or make them make the step and ask you what this is?
Well, depending on who used the most energy on the relationship, you need to dumb down and see how the reaction of them will be. Like, oh, why are you not texting that much anymore? Why am I not doing it so much together and stuff like that? Just like, it's maybe a bit manipulative, but modern times, all that stuff.
Yeah.
To force them to actually bring up the topic, because of course you would have done it with no problem, but you gotta get a little back,
Yeah. So, guys, I hope all these things will help you in a way to just realize where you're standing, if you're in a relationship or if you're not, and if you want to be in one or not, and just how to communicate all these things. But yeah, I think that was it. And
I have an announcement.
Yeah, and Mirza has something to say.
Yes. Mirza is speaking now because Big Daddy is taking a break for the meanwhile to go on explorations and hopefully maybe do a new project. Not sure what it will be. I will be back, but you're gonna have to hear other voices while I'm gone. Hopefully it's gonna be insane. You still have a lovely host here. She's gonna do amazing. I don't doubt anything about that. In the meanwhile, you'll see me somewhere. Maybe in a Batman costume. You never know with me. But for the last time in a long while, thank you for listening, you lovelies. And thank you for having me, Nico.
Yes, of course. This is your funeral, bitch. I'm gonna cheat on you now.
Ooh, that's kind of hot though.
Right?
Fair. All right.
Okay.
Take care and stay nasty.